of Mazatlán. Present position is Cortez. That is spectacular. This is day 4. So it's been a long crossing, 230 nautical miles from La Paz, but it's been with really light air. So when we've been able to sail, it's been slow. We've had to do a lot of motoring as well, but it's been absolutely beautiful crossing. And we're 25 miles right now out of Mazatlán, so we'll arrive kind of in the early evening hours. Sheralyn, you want to talk about your watch?
Yeah, yesterday I had the early morning watch, and when I came up and I looked out at the ocean, I noticed these like glowing orbs that started out like a light dimmer like this, and then they got really big and really bright, like the size of dinner plates, like LED lights, and then they would retract like this, and then they disappear. And then the one on the other side of the boat would start doing it, and it was like, and then the one on the other side of the boat, it was almost like they were communicating. It was the coolest thing. I'd never seen this before.
What Sheralyn told me about, I looked at the water depth for that area where we were crossing. It was 8,500 feet deep. So there's some deep water creatures out there. And then, of course, this morning I get up to do my watch and do a check for traffic and you know, our sailing course and everything. And I see the same thing, but I only see 2 of them. I saw they kind of light up, and like she said, it would illuminate and then dissipate. But it was really cool to watch.
But it wasn't like normal luminescence. Like at night when you move through the water, you see the light up trails from your movement. This was not the same thing. This was actually a live creature that was glowing like an LED light, and they were like communicating between each other.
Maybe some jellyfish of some kind or something, but it was bizarre looking when I saw them as well.
Likely from the deep, because we were so deep at that time.
So we left from La Paz, we went up to Pichilingue, which is an anchorage just a little bit outside of the city, about 6 miles. And we got a cab from there, and the cab took us for the day and took us and ran all of our errands for us for about, what was it, about 800 pesos? I tipped him a little bit because of him running around for us, but it was a really good deal. You look at it, like $50 for the whole day. We had this guy, and he'd just take us anywhere we asked him to go. And so we did our provisioning, and Sheralyn got some new fins.
I bought some new fins because I broke my other ones. So I got some new Cressies, and they're blue. So they match my mask and my snorkel, and I'm really excited to try them out. The water temperature here is 76 degrees.
Let's see.
So
76.6 now.
So that's almost 77.
Yeah. Closer to 77 than 76, huh?
Exactly. So we won't even need our wetsuits.
Yeah. So it'll be nice. So we should arrive this evening. It looks like another night anchorage. There's a pretty good anchorage in Mazatlán behind the island. And then we'll look at getting a slip. But our plan is to try to go from get to the Marina El Cid or Marina Mazatlán, and then we'll stay for about a month here. We're going to try to get some boat work done. We'd like to get a bimini top built for this, so we can put the solar panels on top of the bimini, and a little bit of boat work done, and then we're going to sail south again. By the end of February, we'd like to be heading south again to Tinacatita. We'll go to La Cruz, which is in the Banderas Bay near Puerto Vallarta, and then we'll head down from there to Tinacatita and then Barra Navidad. So by March, we should be in Barra Navidad, and we'll stay until maybe sometime in April, and we'd like to have the boat back up to. It'll be a long slog, but we're going to head back up to, right now, that's the plan anyway. You know, but plans have to be flexible when you're sailing.
Yeah, and we're going to stop at some islands along the way.
Oh, that's right, the blue-footed booby islands.
We want to find, we want to
Isabella?
find the blue-footed boobies. And I'm really feeling excited about this. So
Their feet are this color on the blue-footed boobies.
Maybe a little bit lighter, and then they waddle like they have fins on. They're really cute. So I can't wait. I've never seen one. In person.
And it's a wild place too, from the pictures we see, because the only way to get there is by boat, and it's only visited by a few cruisers every year. Other than that, it's maybe some researchers on the island, but very, very limited access, so not very much pressure on that. And it's called Isla Isabela. So we'll go from Mazatlán to Isabela, and then from there to Puerto Vallarta.
And on our way here, we noticed that there are a bunch of fish jumping out of the ocean here, and Steve went forward to try to capture them on video, and we discovered all these little jellyfish that were all around, and they were actually jumping out of the ocean to catch
the tuna.
And eating the jellyfish, and they were all over the place.
Yeah.
And so we were up on the bow as we noticed this sea turtle swam right in front of the boat, so gracefully and eloquently. It was just lovely.
We just saw a few minutes ago another sea turtle, so
yeah.
And we'll keep an eye on. If we see another one, we'll put them on video.
And then there was a seal off to the starboard side, and it was very incredible to see and experience all of this life here. It just made my heart smile.
Yeah. When you're out on the Big Blue, because you're, at one point we're 100 miles from any land, and 8,000 feet deep water, but it was just smooth, calm sailing. So can't complain other than the fact we had to motor more than we wanted to. And at one time, the boat was so slow, we took the sails down, and that seemed like that was a mistake too, because then you don't have the stabilizing. So the boat's rolling in the Pacific Roll, and we were pitching and throwing dishes all over in the galley. And
the cupboards started opening up, and the dishes were flying out everywhere. And I'm like, oh dear, I think it was better with the sail up. But there was no wind, so what are you going to do?
Yeah. But, so we
ran now, and we're moving, and it's relaxing and peaceful and calm. Love this.
Overall, it's been a really nice sail, and again, we'll arrive. It keeps changing. It was 5 p.m. We're hoping to get in Anchorage with some daylight, but now it's looking more like 8 or 9 because we've slowed down a little bit. But if we get the wind, we'll speed up and be back on our track for a 5 or 6 p.m. arrival.
If we get there in time to get into the Anchorage in daylight, that would be great. Otherwise, we have a plan B, and that's to anchor at night. If we have a nighttime arrival, we'll anchor behind the islands and wait for daylight to get into the channel. Yeah. So that's our plan.
We've gotten really good at doing this. We keep anchoring at night, and so typically what happens is Sheralyn runs the helm, and I go forward and run the windlass. And so far, we coordinate. Shouting back and forth, but it seems to work, and we've got the hook down pretty successfully every time. And in Pichilingue, we get those Cormel winds when we're anchored up waiting. So the night before we left, by La Paz, we were exhausted because that whole night we didn't sleep. It wasn't. We did drag a little bit, but we were holding. When I say drag, maybe 50 feet in the whole night.
The winds were strong. It was like 30 mile per hour winds.
We have a couple of ships pass us. In fact, one this morning.
Huge.
One this morning, a cargo container vessel passed us about a mile.
But it didn't. It looked like it was going to pass us. I mean, this thing was gigantic, like 138 meters.
183 meters.
183 meters, and it looked like it was coming right at us. And I thought, oh dear, oh my. And I felt like I was holding my breath, like, how am I going to possibly be able to get out of this huge ship's way in time,
Yeah.
But thank goodness we had,
Yeah, with AIS, we can see the ship's course and speed. The Garmin does the math, and it calculates a closest point of approach, or a CPA, and then also gives you a time to the closest point of approach. So it's comforting to see, as long as they don't change course and we don't change course, he was going to pass us with plenty of clearance. And That was the third vessel we passed. The San George passed us twice.
Jorge, each night he kind of comes by. He's one of those Baja ferries, you know, I think, right?
Yeah, it's a Baja ferry, and that ship is pretty large as well. So it has passengers and vehicles on board. And I'm not sure. I didn't pull it up to see how large they are, but they're several hundred feet anyway in length. And one night he called us on the radio, which was a nice courtesy call, because we were very slow going, and he calls us to let us know he's going to pass us on our port. And sure enough, pretty soon we see his lights come, and we had him on AIS as well. And it's nice to get a courtesy call from a vessel.
It was nice.
And it also tells us that we're broadcasting our AIS and our vessel name. So when they get on the VHF on 16, we monitor that all times out here on the ocean, and they call on 16, EllieMay, this is wasn't a container.
San Jorge.
Yeah, San Jorge, and so we answer him, and he lets us know he's going to pass the port. So we had another vessel that I actually knew the guys. They had left from Cancun. We had a vessel on our bow, and we wasn't sure. In fact, I had to alter course about 30 degrees to do a port-to-port pass with this other vessel. And it was a sailboat heading for Loreto. And once we started talking on the radio, I actually know the skipper of that boat. He's one of the skippers that does a charter boat out of La Paz. Well, he had a boat in La Paz. He's in Loreto now, but this boat he picked up in Cancun, and he's delivering it to Loreto. So
they were actually on the same dock together, on the dock.
It's pretty funny to.
Small world,
the
right?
Ocean. Luckily we didn't bump into him, but we saw. Yeah. So anyway, it's been great. And anything else you want to recap here before we sign off?
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Adios. Bye.
Hasta luego.
And peace be the journey. Okay, arriving in Mazatlán. Here's the city. This is the island right here. We're going to anchor behind this island. The El Cid Marina entrance is on the other side of the island. We should be able to tuck in on the other side of this for tonight. See what tomorrow holds. There's another anchorage behind this island and the town of Mazatlán. Very cool. Last time I was here in Mazatlán was when I was 18 years old, and I was just out of a wheelchair from my accident that I had. I spent a year in a wheelchair after a motorcycle accident, and my parents took me here to Mazatlán as kind of a gift for our healing. I was still having much difficulty walking before my ankle fusion was done, and I bought a cane here, and I bought a guitar, and I sailed. I was going to try to sail around this island. I rented a Hobie Cat, got halfway around, the wind died. And that was what happened. So this is how we anchor. We've got this Mantis. We use a Bruce anchor, 35-pound Bruce. We got this harness from the hawse pipe, out those davits, and then out in a triangle shape, and that pulls. We actually have 3 different holding points this way, and it seems to be pretty stable. So that's it.